Alright, this is Indie Game Showcase, Episode 2, Episode 14 of the Indie Game Showcase series. So, I'm just going to talk about the indie games I played this week and what I thought of all of them. First one up is A Tat. That name is very difficult to say. It is a 2D side-scrolling shooter, somewhat similar to Contra. I was not too interested in this game. What you see is what I played. It's very simple, and there wasn't really enough to keep me attracted to it. It had that weird little stealth mechanic, but you don't actually hide, you just kind of disappear, and yeah, just wasn't too impressed with that one. Chase UFO. This one was fun for what it was, not really a whole lot of content there. I mean, it's a pretty arcadey shooter. It's a remake of an older game, which is always kind of cool to see that, you know, taking something old and making it new again and changing it in some way, and I do like that. But, you know, it's an arcade game, and there's only so much time you can kind of spend with these, and it's even the more complex arcade games you can't put a ton of time into. In this one, you know, I played it for 5 minutes, and that was about all I needed to play of it. Deadsteal. Deadsteal is your traditional dual-stick shooter setup. Fight a wave of enemies, and then you can level up after that, and then fight more guys in the next wave, level up after that. I did like the level up system that this game had, and I did play a little bit more than what you see here. And it's nice to have that because your level ups are different each time too, and that's really cool, and it's kind of got a branching path system. But in terms of actually being a dual-stick shooter, it was just really samey. And, you know, it's kind of one of those things, once you play one dual-stick shooter a whole bunch, you've kind of played all of them, unless it does something really special, and Deadsteal didn't. Don't take it personally, babe, it just ain't your story. Another title that's kind of a mouthful there. This one was, I did not play a lot of this, because this is a very long game, from what I understand, to do for this kind of a thing. And it's a visual novel, and it initially kind of appeared sort of a dating sim kind of style setup thing, and I'm not really too into those, but this one, it's actually gotten a lot of critical acclaim, and it has really good writing, and so from what I understand, it's a very good game. I didn't really play long enough to get into it, and it's got that aspect where you're the teacher of the class, that's who you're quote-unquote playing as, if you can't tell. You don't really make a whole lot of choices on his behalf. But playing as him, and your students are all communicating via little instant messages with each other, and you can kind of influence how they interact and stuff, and get more info on the story, because since you're the teacher, you can see other little instant messages. And it's a really good idea for a game, and I've played a couple of the other games made by the creator before, so I might go back and play it and see if I get into it more. It's just one of those, it's kind of a high school-y drama sort of a setup, and I don't really know how interesting that's going to be able to pull off. Grotto King. Grotto King is a Zelda dungeon, pretty much. And it's just a nice little one-shot, first-person game. It takes as long to play as it took me to play in that little video. That's a full playthrough. So, yeah, not very complex. It was fun, though, and I liked it, and it had enough little elements to kind of make it interesting. The ending kind of makes me think there's maybe something I could have done differently, and, like, maybe gotten a couple of different elements in there, but I'm not really sure what else I could do. I might go back and try to play it, and I might look it up and see if there are different endings. I did look it up for the description, but I didn't see anything interesting there that would suggest that. It just seemed like the ending might suggest that there was something there. So if there's multiple endings, that'd be really cool. And finally, we have Escape from the Underworld, which was brought to us by the same person who brought us Untitled Story from last week. You can probably tell it's got a very similar art style and a very similar setup. I'm actually going to go through and do a full playthrough of this and post it up. It's supposed to be about 30-45 minutes long, and this was definitely interesting enough to get into. It's just a Metroidvania with platforming elements, kind of like Untitled Story. So, yeah, that should be pretty cool, and I want to get into that, and that's probably going to be one of my games I'll do next week here. So, yeah, that's my summation for this week, and I hope you will tune in next week to see what I thought of projects that people put a lot of love and hard work and time into, and then see how I don't like them.